Welcome to Northway Primary School. Today we're going to be looking at early reading. From the moment your child enters nursery or reception, they begin with us on a journey to develop their love of reading. Learning to read saturates all of our teaching and learning in the early years of school life here at Northway. And we are very proud of the high number of children who leave reception reading with confidence, the high percentage of pupils that pass their phonics screening at the end of year one, and then continue to achieve extremely well in reading as they move on into the juniors. We want to share with you some of the things that we do to support the development of early reading. In nursery, we begin by immersing children in a wide range of wonderful stories. We develop their listening skills, their learning to learn skills, and their language skills. Sharing stories and beginning to look at print is key to developing a child's love of reading. As the children move into reception, we have story times where we read a wide range of storybooks together. In our English lessons, we study different authors, and across the week we have choral reading sessions where the children read books appropriate to their ability. This is modelled by the class teacher, and all children are encouraged to participate. We read one-to-one with each child, and every day we have a phonics focus or session. Firstly, let's look at the end of year progression and expectation for reception. Take a moment to pause the video and read through the early learning goals. In order to achieve these goals, children must be taught to read in a discrete, systematic way. In school, we have a focus on phonics each and every day. So what is phonics? Let's take a look. Phonics is a way of teaching children how to read and to write. It helps children hear, identify, and use different sounds that distinguish one word from another in the English language. Written language can be compared to a code, so knowing the sounds of individual letters and how those letters sound when they're combined will help children decode words as they read. Understanding phonics will also help children know which letters to use when they are writing words. Phonics involves matching the sounds of spoken English with individual letters or groups of letters. Throughout this video, phonics terminology might be used, and on this screen you can find the different terminology that you might hear throughout the video. Pause the video for a moment to take a look. So, in phonics, a phoneme is the smallest unit of sound. This can be made by one or more letters. So in the word cat, there are 3 phonemes. K, at. In the word paint, there are 4 phonemes. P, a, n, t. You will notice that the A is 1 phoneme but has 2 letters. A grapheme is a minimal unit in the writing system. It consists of 1 or more symbols representing a phoneme, which is a sound. In school, we teach the children to segment and blend when they're sounding out to read a word. We use the robot movement with our hands, and this helps the children to segment the word in their mind. When segmenting a word, you say each phoneme separately. And then you model this by putting dots and dashes underneath the graphemes. So for example, cat, we will put 3 dots underneath, and rain, we will put a dot, a dash, and a dot, so that the children can see the individual sounds. Finally, you blend all of the phonemes back together to read the word. So for example, if we're reading rain, we would use the robot movement, rain. On this page, you will see an overview of phonics. This helps you to understand what a child in reception will be taught in the autumn term, the spring term, and the summer term. On the other side of the box, you will see common exception words. These are words that the children will learn to read that are taught by sight because they're not phonically decodable. Take a moment to pause and see what will happen across the reception year. Every letter has a name, A, B, C. Every letter has a phoneme, which is the sound. And every phoneme is linked to a picture in school that you will find on the sound mat. There is an example of a sound mat down below. Every letter has a formation phrase as well, and these can be found on our class pages. When teaching the sounds, it is important that you pronounce the sounds carefully. Make sure that you do not add the sound at the end of the word. So, for example, we would say s, not s, or t, not t. This helps children when they come to blend the sounds together. At the start of reception, children will bring home common exception words. They will be on common exception word mats, and we may refer to them as common irregular words or tricky words. If you take a look at the orange box, you will see I, no, to, the, go, into. These are called common exception words because at this stage, the children cannot decode these words. The children will learn to read these words by sight. In school, we always have the common exception word mats and the sound mats next to us whilst we are teaching and whilst we are teaching the children to read. They are always referred to and they act as a prompt so that we are not continually reading for the children, we are helping them to read independently. When your child first enters school, they may receive books without words. This is a really important time for your child to look through the stories with you and talk about what could be happening in each picture. This is where children develop excellent story language and enjoy making up sentences to match the pictures. As they progress, they will then begin to bring home books with simple words on each page. This is when it's really important to have your sound mat next to you as you read, just like the children will in school. So if they struggle to remember a sound, you would point to the sound mat and you would remind them. The pictures on the sound mat act as a little extra prompt to help the child remember the sound. As your child progresses through school, obviously the books will become more complex and contain more words. This is when you will have your sound mat appropriate to the level of book they're reading and their common exception word mat. As the children read through, they will use these as a resource to help them. Let's take a closer look at this book. So, at first, children will segment and blend all the words to read them, except for common words. But as time passes, they may begin to naturally blend VC words such as it. They will recognise common words and read them automatically, and they will notice that some words are repeated so they don't need to keep sounding them out if they can remember them. So if we take a look at this page, it starts with the word the. They will know this word from their orange common exception word mat. And so the child will automatically be able to read this, or we would prompt them by pointing to the mat. Then they would take the word rat and they would sound it out, rat, rat, and blend it to read. Then they would sound out rips in the same manner. You then might encourage your child to look at the line underneath where rip, rip, rip is repeated. And they may not wish to sound out that word again and again because they understand that it's repeated and they can read it by sight. At the start of all the books that we send home, there is advice for before and during reading to help you help your child. If you look at section 1, it will tell you all the sounds, the new sounds that will be in this book, and you can practice these with your child. Section 2 shows you how to blend the sounds with dots and dashes, and section 3 will show you the tricky words that they will come across in the book. At the end of each book, there are simple comprehension activities that you can carry out with your child to make sure that they understand what's happened within the story. You will also notice a little bug on one of the pages at the end. This also provides your child with an opportunity to answer a comprehension question if you are reading this book using the online Active Learn that each child has a login for. Throughout reception, we carry out daily assessments of where the children are up to make sure that we are supporting them and meeting them at their individual point of need. We also have termly assessments where all children are tested on the words, sounds and common exception words that we've taught on a regular basis. Children are tested one-to-one and they must know a given amount of phonemes. They must be able to read a given amount of words, and we then provide keep-up sessions for children that are showing any gaps or any signs of not understanding some of the blending techniques that we've taught. Each child will bring home a decodable reading book. We expect all children to read their decodable reading book at least 3 times per week. Please sign each time you read the reading book or an allocated online reading book. Reading at home is really important. It is the school's role to teach reading, but parents and carers play a vital role in helping the children to become fluent and confident readers. Parent and carer support is needed to help the child practice their reading and develop fluency with a book that they've already read in school. These books that we send home are matched to their phonic stage, and they are fully decodable for your child. If books are sent home that children cannot decode, it leads to frustration, and that is why we send it home really closely matched to where your child is up to. On top of their decodable reading book, we will also be sending home a library book to share with an adult. So your child is then able to be exposed to a wide range of vocabulary beyond what they would be able to decode and read by themselves. The sharing book is really important because this is where children can continue to develop lifelong reading skills and a real love of reading. The desire of wanting to read will help them with the skills of reading. Parents and carers should not expect their children to read these books independently. It's for the children to share with you because the end goal is enjoyment and the love of reading. Don't forget that each child has an active Learn account that they can log into, and this has many books that each child can read at their level. It also has games to match and help the children to learn to read and spell words at the level that they're working at. Alongside phonics and learning to read, children naturally see all of the letters and the letters that they have to learn to then be able to write. This is how we teach early reading and writing. In Northway, we use cursive handwriting from the start. Below you will see some of the cursive handwriting that we use. This is how we teach the children to form the letters from the very start of reception. Please continue this at home to support their progress. We teach the letters in a specific order to aid development, as shown below. So, for example, we would say start on the line, stroke the doggy backwards, stop, back round in a circle, stick and flick. All of these phrases are available on our class page, and it would be really beneficial to your child if you use these same phrases when they are attempting to write at home. We've also included the stages of grip development as children learn to write at different paces to each other, and this may help you to encourage them to develop a grasp that is suitable to their level of need. If your child is struggling with their pencil grip, these are some of the fine motor skills and pre-writing skills activities that can be used to help strengthen your child's pencil grip. Learning to read is a wonderful time for young children, and they use their reading skills to then help them to write. If you have any further questions or would like to know any more tips and hints to help your child at home, please come and speak to one of the teachers. We're here to help anytime.